Hello, Class C, Economics Year 1. It's been a while. It's been about 20 minutes since I've last seen you, but here we are again. I'm recording this now, and then you can engage with this at 4:30. Hope the last 20 minutes have been good and you recovered from our PPF lesson. So what I want to do today is the basic economic problem. We're going to talk about some final thoughts on the last few weeks of learning. Some of the points that were raised today we're also going to be looking at. So my objective for this next video is simply to explore some final thoughts before we can move on to theme 2, which is macroeconomics. All right, what have we done in these first 2 weeks? We know about scarcity, we know about choices that we need to make, we know that we need to be rational, we might make the most intelligent choices, we know what a positive statement is, we know what a normative statement is, and with regards to PPFs from this morning, you know what the curve is. You know that when we operate within the curve, there's unemployed resources. You know that if we expand the curve, there's economic growth. If we push the curve inwards, it shows economic shrinkage. And the marginal analysis, for every 2.5 textbooks, we lose one e-reader or whatever. There's your marginal analysis. So that's what we know so far. Somebody, I forget who it was, mentioned the idea of kind of land, labour, capital and enterprise. And that's where we need to start today. We call these economic factor inputs, and for the PPF to operate, for us to have an economy, we need 4 key resources. Land, as we already mentioned today, is the natural resources. It's not just a piece of land, like a football pitch. It is the resources within the land and on the land. So it's going to be your wood, your trees, your oil, your mines with your metals, coal, all that kind of stuff. Labour is us, labour is human input into production. So obviously I am labour for this college, I am an employee for this college. We have capital, that means investing in goods that are used to produce other goods, so those capital goods, basically it means machinery and tools, that kind of stuff. But also from a business perspective, we've got entrepreneurship and enterprise. We need people who seek to supply products for a profit, okay? And that thing we spoke about with China in the 70s, communism collapsing, there was never any entrepreneurship there. The government ran everything, so you couldn't set up your own business. Now, obviously, China has enterprise, so it has the 4 factor inputs working effectively. Its PPF is pushed outwards, okay? Within the PPF setup, within an economic setup, we also need consumers and producers. For an economy to operate, our consumers, basically, if we go to that third bullet point, to make things nice and simple, economics assumes, ceteris paribus, that consumers are rational decision makers and act in a way that maximizes their satisfaction. When I bought this shirt, at that point, I felt the money that I spent, this shirt looks all right, it's a nice color, it fit me, it was going to maximize my satisfaction and I'll wear it. So I, 4th bullet point, use my limited income to buy this good. And obviously I don't just buy shirts, you know, I pay the mortgage, I pay my bills, I buy whatever, but my limited income, my scarce resource of money, buys the combination of goods and services that gives me the maximum level of satisfaction. If I had more money, my wants and my needs would change to another level of satisfaction. Producers, economics assumes that producers are rational decision makers. They think intelligently and they act in a way that maximizes their welfare. We'll go through I think there's some building works going on. Mad. Welfare kind of means economic happiness or the kind of satisfaction, etc. This means producers use their limited resources to produce goods or services that yield the highest level of profits, that give firms the highest level of profits. All of us are rational, none of us are stupid. Yeah, okay, yeah, I don't really think that's the case, but to simplify analysis, economics assumes that. All of you would have spent money on something that when you get it home, it could be a computer game, it could be a PlayStation game, it could be an item of clothing, it could be a bit of food, that at that point when you bought it, you thought this is going to be amazing. When you get it home, you stick the game on, you stick the t-shirt on, you stick the dress on, whatever, it's like, what was I doing? Why was I spending that kind of money on this rubbish product? We don't worry about that in economics. We think that everybody spends intelligently and maximizes their satisfaction. Just a last little bit really, in terms of an economy, producers will operate in three sectors. If you've done geography, sorry about the noise in the background, if you've done geography, business studies, whatever. The primary sector, they deal with using the land and taking resources out of the land, okay, so fishermen, coal mining, oil, getting oil extraction out of the ground. An economy has to have a secondary sector, a manufacturing sector. That's about taking the resources from the primary sector and making it into finished products. And I'll go for an example in a minute. The tertiary sector is the area of the economy that sells products and services. Students tell me there's another one, a quaternary, whatever it's called, sector about technology and innovation. I'm not really worried about that. If it exists, it does. It probably does. But all I think about is primary, secondary, tertiary. Let's give you one company that does all three. IKEA, the Swedish furniture producer. It has its own farms in Sweden, okay? Farms of wood, of trees, forest farms, yeah. So it operates in the primary sector, okay? It grows trees. It's highly sustainable. It has employees, workers to cut down the trees, labour. IKEA works in the secondary sector because they have factories that take the trees, they kind of, I don't know, what do you call it in design technology? They grind it down into different shaped bits of wood, all that kind of stuff. Then they put all this wood into different shapes, they make the manual, they shove it into a box, you've got your final bit of, I'm really sorry last time about this noise if it's bad, I don't know what we're doing. Conversion of resources into products, those things that you get at IKEA, that flat pack furniture, and they operate in the tertiary sector as well, because you go to IKEA, the shop, to have your £1 breakfast, I think it's £1.99 these days, but to buy the products and the services from them, okay? All right, now, so do you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to pause this, I'm going to record 2 videos, I'll explain why.